What you're about to witness will shake the foundation of professional wrestling. Tonight, blood turned against blood, loyalty shattered like glass, and the tribal chief just drew a line in the sand that may never be erased. This isn't just another title win, this is the moment everything changed. And if you think you know what's coming next, trust me, you have no idea how deep this betrayal goes. Before we dive into the chaos that unfolded on Monday Night Raw, I need you to do something for me. This channel, SLAMZONE, exists because of people like you, fans who live and breathe this business, who understand that wrestling isn't just moves and matches, it's stories that grip our hearts and refuse to let go. If you've ever felt that rush, the genuine emotion when a moment hits just right, then please, hit that subscribe button. Smash that notification bell, because what we break down here isn't just content, it's passion. Every week, we're building something special together, a family of fans who refuse to settle for surface-level coverage. Drop a comment below telling me how you felt about what went down tonight, share this with every wrestling fan you know who needs to see this breakdown, and let's grow this community together. Now, let me take you ringside to witness history. The energy inside the arena is absolutely electric. You can taste the anticipation thick in the air as the Usos, Jimmy and G, make their entrance through that curtain. These aren't just any tag team anymore. These are men who've clawed, scratched, and fought their way through every conceivable obstacle to reach this moment. 9-time tag team champions. Let that sink in. 9 times they've reached the summit of tag team excellence. But tonight feels different. You can see it in their eyes, in the way they slap hands with the fans, in how they acknowledge the deafening chants echoing through the building. Their opponents stand across the ring, and the championship gold hangs above everything like a golden prophecy waiting to be fulfilled. The referee holds those titles high, and the camera captures the reflection of ambition in 8 different eyes. The bell rings, and immediately, the pace is frantic, calculated, brutal. Jimmy explodes out of the corner with a speed that defies his size, connecting with a running forearm that sends his opponent staggering backward into the ropes. The crowd erupts. G is on the apron, leaning over the top rope, screaming instructions, his voice raw with intensity. You can feel the chemistry, the brotherhood, the years of fighting side by side crystallized in every calculated movement. But their opponents aren't pushovers. A sudden reversal sends Jimmy crashing chest first into the turnbuckle with a sickening thud that makes the front row wince. The momentum shifts like a wave pulling back before the tsunami hits. Quick tags, isolation tactics, working over Jimmy's left arm with methodical precision. Every strike has purpose. Every hold is designed to drain the fight from one half of the greatest tag team in WWE history. G is reaching, arm extended, hand trembling with the desire to get in there and save his brother. The crowd is on their feet, clapping in rhythm, willing Jimmy to make that tag. You can see the exhaustion painted across his face, sweat pouring down, chest heaving, but in his eyes burns something that cannot be extinguished. The warrior spirit. The USO legacy. Jimmy suddenly explodes with an enzwidgery out of nowhere that catches his opponent flush on the side of the head. The arena absolutely loses its mind. Both men are down. The referee starts the count. The crowd is chanting USO, 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 so loud the building seems to shake on its foundation. This is what wrestling is about, this moment right here where everything hangs in the balance. Jimmy is crawling, inch by agonizing inch, toward his brother. His opponent is stirring, reaching for his own partner. The tension is unbearable. You can barely breathe watching this. And then hot tag. G comes in like a house on fire, super kicks flying like lightning strikes, connecting with precision that seems almost supernatural. One opponent goes down. The other rushes in super kick. The crowd is going absolutely ballistic. G is feeling it now, you can see the confidence surging through him. He signals to the crowd, pointing to the corner, and they know what's coming. He climbs to the top rope, steadies himself, the entire world watching, and launches into a picture-perfect splash that drives every ounce of air from his opponent's lungs. He hooks the leg, the referee slides into position, 1-2 kick out at 2.5. The near fall sends a shockwave through the audience. People have their hands on their heads in disbelief. But the Usos have been here before. They thrive in these high-pressure moments. Jimmy's back in now, and you can see them communicating with just glances, that twin telepathy that's made them legendary. They set up their opponent in the corner, both brothers on opposite sides, and they hit stereo super kicks that echo like gunshots through the arena. Their opponent crumbles to the mat, and the Usos look at each other with that knowing look, it's time to end this. They position their opponent perfectly in the center of the ring. G ascends the turnbuckle one more time while Jimmy keeps the other opponent at bay on the outside. The camera captures G's face at the top rope, and you can see years of struggle, doubt, redemption, and triumph all flashing in that single moment. He leaps, rotating through the air with the USO splash, and the impact is devastating. He stays on for the cover, hooking both legs tight. 1. The crowd counts with the referee. 2. You can hear the building holding its collective breath. 3. The bell rings, and the place absolutely explodes with sound and emotion. They've done it. The Usos are 9-time tag team champions. Historic doesn't even begin to cover what just happened. Jimmy rolls into the ring, and the brothers embrace in the center of the squared circle, their foreheads pressed together, both of them breathing hard, championship gold being handed to them like the sacred artifacts they are. The emotion is overwhelming. These aren't just championships, they're validation, legacy, immortality. The crowd is on their feet giving them a standing ovation. Signs are waving everywhere. Flashbulbs are going off like stars exploding. This is what it means to witness greatness. This is the moment that will be replayed for decades. The Usos stand on the turnbuckles, holding those titles high, and the roar of approval washes over them like a tidal wave of respect. But then something changes. The celebration music is still playing, but on the big screen above the entrance ramp, the Titantron flickers. The crowd's cheers begin to fade into confused murmurs. The Usos turn from their celebration to look at what everyone else is staring at, and there he is. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. His face fills the screen with an expression that sends chills racing down your spine. This isn't the proud cousin, the family patriarch celebrating their achievement. This is something else entirely. His eyes are cold, calculating, dangerous. The arena falls into an eerie silence, the kind of quiet that comes right before the storm destroys everything in its path. "Congratulations," he says, and the word drips with something that definitely isn't pride. The Usos stand frozen in the ring, championships hanging at their sides, suddenly feeling the weight of something far heavier than gold. 9 times. That's impressive. That's what I expect from my bloodline. But let me make something perfectly clear. He pauses, and you could hear a pin drop in that arena. Thousands of people holding their breath. Those titles? They belong to this family because I allow it. Your success? It exists because of me. And if you ever forget who's at the head of this table, if you ever think for 1 second that this family operates without my blessing, then what I give, I can just as easily take away. The threat hangs in the air like poison gas. Jimmy and G exchange glances, and for the first time tonight, you see something besides confidence in their eyes. You see uncertainty, maybe even fear. The camera zooms in on their faces, capturing the moment the celebration died, the moment joy turned to dread. Listen, if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, if this story has grabbed you and won't let go, do me a favor and show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe to SLAMZONE, and turn on notifications because this story is far from over, and you don't want to miss what comes next. Comment below and tell me what you think Roman is planning, because this is about to get intense. Now, let's talk about what this warning really means. This moment right here represents everything that's been building in the bloodline for months. Think about the journey. Roman Reigns has ruled WWE with an iron fist for over 3 years, controlling every aspect of his family's destiny, demanding absolute loyalty, absolute acknowledgement. The Usos have stood by his side through wars, through betrayals, through moments where the whole world was against them. They've been the enforcers, the soldiers, the shield that protected the tribal chief's throne. But something shifted when they started chasing that 9th championship. You could feel them operating with more independence, making their own decisions, carving their own path to greatness. And Roman noticed. He always notices. The tribal chief doesn't miss anything, and what he sees as independence, he interprets as defiance. That warning wasn't just words, it was a message written in capital letters: remember your place. The celebration that should have been pure joy, a career-defining moment that the Usos will remember forever, has now been tainted with the shadow of Roman's control. The look on their faces as that screen went dark said everything. The question that's now burning in their minds, and in ours, is simple but devastating: how much longer can they live under his thumb? The fractures in the bloodline have been forming for a while now. Small moments, little disagreements, times when you could see Jimmy and G questioning whether this was worth it. But Roman always pulled them back in, always reminded them of the family, the legacy, the power that comes from standing united. Except unity built on fear and control isn't really unity at all, it's a powder keg waiting for a spark. What happens now changes everything. The Usos have reached the absolute peak of tag team achievement. They've proven they don't need Roman to succeed. And that might be the most dangerous thing they could have possibly done. Because the tribal chief's power doesn't come from titles, it comes from control, and the moment someone in his family proves they can shine without him, that's when he becomes most dangerous. Think about the ramifications of what we witnessed. If the Usos choose to continue down this path, to embrace their independence and step out of Roman's shadow, we could be looking at the most explosive family civil war in WWE history. Brother against brother, cousin against cousins, bloodline shattered across the battlefield of professional wrestling. The matches would be instant classics, but the emotional toll would be catastrophic. On the other hand, if they bend the knee, if they acknowledge Roman's supremacy and accept their place beneath him, they sacrifice everything they've worked for. That 9th championship becomes hollow, just another trophy in Roman's collection rather than their own achievement. The warrior spirit that drove them to this moment gets suffocated under the weight of submission. There's no easy answer here, no clean resolution that leaves everyone whole. This is real drama, real stakes, the kind of storytelling that makes wrestling more than just athletic competition. It becomes Shakespearean tragedy played out in wrestling boots and tights. The crowd understands this. That's why the silence after Roman's warning was so deafening. Everyone in that arena knew they just witnessed the moment before everything falls apart. What makes this so powerful, what gives it such weight, is that these aren't just characters, these are real people with real relationships. Roman, Jimmy, and G have known each other their entire lives. They've shared family dinners, celebrated holidays together, mourned losses together. The betrayal that's potentially coming isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. It cuts to the heart of what family means, what loyalty costs, and what happens when love and ambition collide. The Usos have to be asking themselves what price they're willing to pay for freedom. Is standing up to Roman worth losing everything they've built? Is keeping peace in the family worth losing themselves? These questions don't have easy answers, and that's why we can't look away. We're watching people we care about approaching a cliff edge, and we don't know if they're going to step back or jump. What happened tonight on Monday Night Raw will be talked about for years. The Usos' historic 9th Tag Team Championship victory should have been the story, the headline, the moment everyone remembers. Instead, it became the setup for something potentially far bigger and far more devastating. Roman Reigns sent a warning that echoed through that arena and across the entire WWE universe, and now we wait to see how the Usos respond. Will they bow to the tribal chief and maintain the Bloodline's unity? Or will they stand tall, championships in hand, and tell Roman that they've outgrown his shadow? Either choice leads to explosive television, incredible matches, and emotional moments that will leave us breathless. This is why we love this business. This is why we invest our hearts in these stories. Because when wrestling is done right, when the stakes feel this real and the emotions run this deep, nothing else in entertainment even comes close. Make sure you're subscribed to SLAMZONE, hit that notification bell, drop a like on this video, and share it with everyone who needs to understand just how massive this moment is. Comment below with your predictions. What do you think the Usos will do? How do you see this playing out? This is just the beginning of something that could redefine WWE for the next year or more, and I'll be here every step of the way breaking it all down for you. The bloodline is cracking, the throne is shaking, and the tribal chief just showed that even family isn't safe from his wrath. Welcome to SLAMZONE, where we don't just watch wrestling, we feel every devastating moment of it. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, stay locked in, because this story is about to explode.